Hi everyone, did you guess which one? So we're going to make this snowflake ornament, and in the previous video I did a update of all the different ones I was doing. So if you guessed it, this is the one. So let's get started. I'm going to get right into this video and the supplies. So there I was missing a 4mm. So you're going to need some 11O seed beads. These are metallic silver. They're one of my favorite colors. These are iridescent white 4mm Preciosa pearls. These here are pearls that I got at Shipwreck Beads. They came in a large number, I think 1,000 or something like that. No, it couldn't have been, maybe 10 strands, and I think there might have been 100 on it. So yeah, I don't know the name of it. I'll look up the name if you're interested. I don't know. I think it was old stock of some type of bead. I don't think they're Preciosas, but anyway, they turned out really nice. As you can see, this is them. So I did do one with the blue elements, but you kind of lose the crystals in this one. But still gorgeous. I'm not done testing this out with different colors. I think there was I have some two-holed pearl beads that are luminescent. I thought that would be awesome, but I think these are 6mm. I think they're bigger. Even though they're 6mm size beads, they look slightly bigger. So anyway, these are 6mm. Sorry about that. 6mm pearls, and then these are 4mm Swarovski bicones. You can use any bicones you have, it'll look great. And then the Superduos are Pearl Coat Snow, it's called. So really, really beautiful. They're like a pearl coat and a kind of a luster on them. They just look lovely. So we're going to start with the circle, and I'll show you how to add. These are really fast, by the way. I think that the biggest part is adding all the seed beads, but we'll see if we can speed it up. So let's just get started. You're going to need thread. I'm using size 6 crystal thread, dragon thread. If you have what's the other name, brand, Fireline, you might want to go down from a 6-pound. I find a 6-pound's a little thick with going through the Superduos multiple times to get your seed beads in there, but it's still doable. And you can go down a little more as well, but I found that I was not sure if I wanted to use this as just an ornament where you would, attach something and then hang it on the tree so it keeps its shape, or to put it on a ball. Let me grab a ball like that. And I think I will be doing a Christmas ball with this design, so stay tuned for that too. Because for that, I usually do 2 of these. I usually add a Swarovski Rivoli in the middle, and then I do these small elements on the sides, and I attach it all together. So let me know if you're interested in that. I'll definitely do it. So get started. We're going to start with our 4mm pearls. I took a wingspan of thread, and I'm doing using, this looks like a size 10 needle. So yeah, you can use 10 on this. If you want to use a 12, that's fine too. You would probably do a lot better with a 12. So for this, you're just going to pick up all your 8 4mm pearls. Sometimes it's easier to just put it on your needle. Imagine that. I love watching some of the videos where they do a lot of these things like this, and they just like They're doing something like this, and then they grab it with their finger to keep it on the needle. Like I when I get in a groove, sometimes I end up doing it like that. So let me just bring this down so we have a clear spot on our mat. So bring it all the way down. And I have to say, you probably will need, I kind of use a wingspan and a bit. You probably will need it all. So I'm pretty sure a wingspan will do it. You might be struggling to tie off your end, but that's all you need. You don't need to add thread for this. If you don't feel comfortable working in a full wingspan, definitely don't use the full wingspan, and then just add. So I'm just going to tie this in a knot. Get it there? Yeah. And I moved my camera for something, and I find it takes me a couple of videos to get back in sync of where my hands are in relation to the camera. So I apologize if I'm out of view. I feel like I'm reaching right now. I always do 3, especially when I'm using thin thread. It's not a big deal. So let's just do that and then clip the tail. There. There's your first section. So I'm just going to go through a few beads, and then I'm going to just pull gently on it to get that knot. You actually don't have to put the knot in the bead because you're not going to see this, and I can actually I'm going to use my thread burner. And if you feel really lucky, you could use your lighter. We're joking about that. I totally cannot use a lighter. My everything would be on fire. I just bought some candles recently, last week, after not buying them for years, because like I love Yankee candles. And I had one in my office, and I was doing beading and stuff, and I stopped and I went outside and did some stuff and came back, and the candle, like, it was all liquid, right? I was like, my heart just freaked out. I was like, that's it, no more candles for me. So the next step is adding the crystals. So what you're going to need to do, let's take a look. We're going to pick up a crystal, then an 11-0, then your 6 millimeter pearl, then a 11-0 and your crystal, and you're going to go back in and do that all the way around. So again, this part's really simple. Let's move these guys over, get them ready for us. I think I'm going to move that up. Okay, so pick up your crystal. It's up to you. You could put a crystal here too, or an 11-0, but with that design, I didn't do it. It didn't seem to need it. So pick up 11-0, then your 6 millimeter and 11-0. I'll show you what I have on my thread here. So you have 4 millimeter bicone, an 11-0, a 6 millimeter pearl, an 11-0, and then another 4 millimeter. And that's what you have. What you're going to do, you're coming out of this side of the pearl, you're going to go into the other side of the pearl, and you're going to go to the next pearl like this. So this step is the only time you'll pick up 2 crystals, and that's what you're going to get. That. So now we're going to pick up 1 bicone, that, an 11-0, a 6 millimeter, and another 11-0. So that's all you need for the next to go all the way around. So bicone 11.0, 6mm 11.0. You are coming out of this 4mm pearl here. You're going to go into this bicone here. So your bicone will become a combined bicone like this. Okay, go through there. Bring that through. And just remember, if you're using crystals, that they are sharp on the inside, so they could cut your thread. So just be aware not to be yanking like I do. I'm going to enlarge this for you so you can really see what I'm doing here. There. So we're going to continue this. Grab my... So we're going to go, we're coming out of this bicone. We're going to go through this pearl and through this pearl. You can like hang on to this so it's snug, but once we go through the two pearls, you can make sure that it's tight. Like that. There, like that. So pick up a bicone, an 11.0, a 6mm. Let's try that again. 6mm pearl and an 11.0. That. You're coming out of this one here. You're going to go down through your crystal to make it a combined crystal like that. Like that. Now you're going to go through, you're coming out of this crystal, you're going to go through this pearl and that pearl. And we're just going to continue like that all the way through. Like that. So I'm going to move these over. Maybe that'll make them stay on my needle. Oh, behave. Behave, you beads. That. Like that. Okay. You're coming out of here. You're going to go into here. Now, if you want, you can actually go through everything at once. Like that. So you're going down through the crystal, down through that pearl, and then setting yourself up for the next pearl. That. Keep going. So things are getting busy here. You know, it just kind of sneaks up on you, doesn't it? The holidays, that is. These look so lovely together. You could put these on an earring. And that would just look gorgeous. Gorgeous. So yeah, I was surprised the grocery store. We had snow. So we had a snowstorm Sunday night. So yesterday, of course, people were getting, the plows were going by, and streets like ours, we don't get plowed till the second day of the storm. So we were fine. Our neighbors plow. They have snow blowers, so they plow our driveway. But we had no appointments, so there was no point going out in it. So of course today people were out at the grocery stores like we were. I was gonna say, like, we're not starving. We've got lots of food in the house. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I was at the store too. But we were getting storm chips. So that's a thing here in Nova Scotia. Whenever there's a storm, I can't remember which storm it started with, but it's been years now, to the point where they actually have a brand of chips that are called storm chips. So the joke is, you know, you meet your neighbor at the grocery store and you're like, "Oh, are you ready for the storm?" "Yeah, I'm getting my storm chips." And it's so much a thing. Like, it's, you just type it in YouTube, storm chips in Nova Scotia, and it'll be there. So, but what was I going to say about the storm chips? Oh well, that's how fast my brain loses track. So there's special delivery coming from my sister Sylvia. So let me just say this point here. Let's talk about this. So we're at the last. This one is the second to last pearl we're adding on. So we're going to start. We've got a crystal, an 11-0, a pearl, and an 11-0. We're going to go into the previous crystal and through to the other side of the 4mm pearl. And I'm doing it in steps just to show you, because you know what, this method of going in and adding stuff into like a loop, I saw early on and it confused me, so I don't want to confuse you. So now we need to close this gap. We have a combined crystal here and a combined crystal here. So all that's left to add is a 6mm pearl and two 11-0s on each side of that pearl. So we need to get set up for the next, bring ourselves up here so we can attach it. So we're going to go through the 4mm pearl. And you can see I still have everything pretty loose. It's not a big deal. Once we add stuff, it will stiffen it up. I mean, do try to get it so that it's snug, but it doesn't have to be tight. So we're through the 4mm pearl. That. Okay. Go up through the crystal. That. Okay, so now we need, because you see we have two 11-0s on each side, so there's only one here and one there. So we do need an 11-0 and our final 6mm pearl and an 11-0, like that. Now we're going to go down through this crystal, like that, and that will close it off. And I have no clue what to do next. No, I'm just kidding. I did these a couple of days ago, so, and you saw all the designs I did. So, okay, so we're down at the bottom here. We want to make our way up. So we're going to go back through this 4mm pearl. It's only tight because these pearls have those little tails of finish on them. Go through here. Get it nice and snug. Then go up through the crystal. There we go. So let me see what the next step was. I think we put these 11-0s around the 6mm pearls. So let me check. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So we're going to go around all the 6mm pearls and add 8. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you go through that 11-0 that's right next to the pearl. Bring your thread through there like that and pick up 8 11-0s. Okay, there's 8 like that. Then you're going to go down through this. So you're going to go around your pearl and down through the 11-0. like that. And at this point, we can add, I don't know if you could see this, but in between each of the 6 millimeter pearls, there's a little kind of pointed picot. So we want to add that one bead there and then go through the 11-0. Add our 8, add the one bead, add our 8, add the one bead. So this is a good opportunity to add that in. When I designed it, I had to go back and put beads in places, but once you figure out there's a way to get there. So one bead. So from this 11-0, I'm just going to turn it to, it's easier for me to get my needle in there. Just go through the bottom of the next 11-0. Let me see if we can do it this way. Make it easier. Go through the bottom like that. Okay. Don't worry, it's going to sit straight with the other one because we will be going back and making it point straight down. So pick up 8 11-0s. Okay. So there's 8. You're coming out of that bead. We're going to go down through this one. Oh, look, we skipped one. I hope I didn't cross my thread. Nope. I went a little too far. I'm so excited. I'm skipping steps. Okay, so there's your second one. We're going to add our single bead, just one. Where'd it go? Like that, just one to go in here. So let's go up through the 11-0, like that. Pull all the way through there. Pick up 8 11-0s. And just continue doing that. Make sure we have 8. Like that. Pick up 1 and go through like that. Each step around it starts to look like totally different from the finished. Pick up 1, oh, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down here. Pick up 1 and go up through that single 11-0. And pick up 8. There. Go through the next one. It starts to look really amazing when we add the Superduos. That's the part of this type of design that I really enjoy. Let me just adjust this here so that I don't get lost. Okay, pick up 1. Go up through the next 11-0. One, two, three, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go down through this one. Pick up 1, go up through the next one. And you can see how it's like, it doesn't want to sit flat. But once we get everything in there, it should. Especially since that third bead that we added shouldn't sit that way. It should sit down this way. But we're going to fix that on the next go around. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down through here. Pick up 1. So if you're doing this and you forget to add one of those beads, no worries, do it as we go around again. So this is the last one. Okay. Then go through here. That. Pick up this single one. Okay. Before we add the single one, I need to check. We are going to go up through a few of these beads. I think 2. You're going to leave 4 of your seed beads in the middle, but every 2 you're going to go up through them and add your Superduos, because this is where we're going to add our Superduos. So we're going to add 2 Superduos. So let me see how far up I went. So if you think this is the middle bead that we added, there's a bead on each side that kind of belongs to the 6mm. So skip those, and then you go 1, 2. So it looks like I only went up 1. Let me check on another one. I may have gone too low on that one. Nope, so we're only going to go up 2 and add. Good. Good to know. I'm tutorial myself. That made no sense. Okay, so you've got your one little for the picot there. So just go up 2 beads. Emma said to go up 2 beads. Grab it. And let's grab our Superduos. Pick up 2 Superduos. You are coming out of this second bead on your pearl. We're going to go that way, and we're going to go through 2 beads on the previous pearl. Like, there's 1 and 2. That other bead is the picot one. So what we're going to do is we're going to, first of all, we're going to bring these down like this. And we are going to take this one here, poke it down. We're going to skip it, and we're going to go back up 2 beads like that. And we're going to make sure if that third bead that's in the middle doesn't pop out at the front, you can take your needle, put it through and hang on to it, and then pull it tight, and it will set it in that spot. Okay. So now I'm wondering, I can't remember think we'll just, so there's a few ways you can go to your next set. I can take my thread and go, yeah, I think I'm going to go through the Superduo again. Go through both of them like that. There, so it kind of really positions them. Then I'm going to go down through the 2 beads like that. Then I'm going to skip that middle bead, and I'm just going to go up 1 bead, 111.0, because I'm going to go through the pearl to the next set like this. And there's a reason why I'm doing it this way. If you're a beader and you're looking at this and you're thinking, well, I can just go across here and go to the next. I want my thread coming up from these beads here. 1, so I can get this bead set in that spot. But 2, I want my thread going up that way and kind of following the circle. If I were to go through here, I would be coming out of one of these beads. It might like pull this bead away like that and then put them there. So that's why I do it that way. But TMI. Just follow everything I say and it'll all go right. You know, I joke like that with my wife and I'll use that funny voice. And she's like, I can always tell when you're giving me a line because your voice changes. Okay, so we're coming out of this pearl. We want to, let's go down the 1 bead. Okay. Skip that middle bead. Then go up 2 beads. Like that. If you're not sure and it's hard to see, because I know it's actually, as much as I have it enlarged, it's still kind of hard to see. So just be patient. I'm going to show it for everyone so that you can see it. And because I don't have fast forward on I don't have a pause on this tablet that I'm using. So pick up 2 Superduos. You're coming out of here. You've gone through your 2. You've set your middle one. Now we're going to go down through this 2 here. Like that. Go up 2. You don't have to do it a second time. I kind of feel it needs it, so I'm doing it. Yeah, so this tablet, I didn't realize it didn't have a pause until I got it. And I was like, oh, this is no good. So my old tablet, what I used to do is I would, do a certain thing in a video, like a tutorial, and then they'd say, okay, I'll be back and we'll do the next step. I'll finish doing the thing around. So I would pause my camera. I'd finish what I needed to finish, and then I'd unpause the camera and then show you guys. And that's how it would. So then I could take that video and just, so go through your Superduos and just upload that to YouTube directly from my tablet. So I don't do any editing, and I'll tell you, it's a pain in the butt. We have questionable, I'm on the wrong side here, questionable Wi-Fi here. So if I were to edit my videos, you have to upload them and then edit them. And then you have to upload the finished product. So now I'm going back up. I'm just going to go up one and then go through the pearl. Like that. It's kind of sticky. That's weird. Small bead, I guess. Okay. Yeah, so it takes, I've done it. It takes days. Yeah. And it's not that we have bad internet here or Wi-Fi here in Nova Scotia. I've told this story before, so we're going to go through the pearl to the next set here. Like that. The lady that used to live in this house thought there was aliens sending gamma rays through the house. So she had a contractor put metal, like layers and layers of metal on all the walls, and then covered it with paneling. And yeah, so we got a lot of it off. But so I came through the pearl. I went through the first bead. I'm going to skip the second bead. Then I'm going to go up 2 beads. Like that. Try and make it clear as possible. You're going to pick up 2 Superduos. 1, 2. You're coming out of this side here. We're going to go down this side, and we're only going to go through 2 11-Os. Is that our sticking out one? No, that is. Okay, so go through these 2. That. Pull it through. And our little bead didn't stick out, so just take your needle and get your needle in there and pop it down. And I'm just going to pull my thread, and that should set it. Go up 2. You can see it's kind of flippy floppy. I want to make it a little more snug. Like that. And go through your Superduos. They're dancing. Let's see if I can pull that tighter. Hang on to them so they don't bounce around. There, nice and tight. Go down the 2 11-Os. That. There. Skip your picot one. Now we're gonna go through this one, so we only need to go through 1 11-O. If you went through the 2, it would reposition those beads. So the hole to that bead is right between those 2. So it might warp your work. So now go through your pearl like that. I'm just kind of stretching. I'm kind of getting a little concerned about this area here. I'm like, okay, it worked on this one. What the heck? Okay, so we are gonna go down the 1 bead here. Like that. we're coming out of this bead here. We're going to skip that middle bead and we're going to go up 2 on this side here. Let's up 2 like that. Yeah, so the metal, I have some videos. If you look up baby squirrel beading and renovations, I have 2 videos, 2 or 3 on our renovations in the house. So she sadly passed away, and so apparently it was quite a people knew about this house. People are so funny here, and I'm sure if you're from a small town, they're the same. Okay, I've got my Superduos. I'm going to go down my 2 beads here. You know, you run into people at the grocery store, at the dentist's office, or something like that, and then they'll ask you where you live, and oh, Eastern Passage, is that where that house where that lady? We're like, how the heck did you know? So we're gonna go up 2 because we're gonna go through everything again. You would not believe. So I ended up doing I'm trying to think a rally maybe, or a run to raise awareness for spinal injury, and it was Rick Henson who traveled across Canada when he was a young guy, and so they were commemorating it and trying to bring up more knowledge about it and stuff. So so anyway, I'm doing, and we got to carry his, I think it was like a silver medal that he was awarded from the Canadian government or something, or maybe the Queen. I can't remember now. That's terrible. I went up 2. I should have only gone up because did we go through this one twice? Yeah, we did. So let me go back down 1 here. I'm chitter chattering. Yeah, so I go to do this. I didn't think that was a funny day. So actually, they asked us to sign up. So I signed. I said to Jen, I said, "Do you think I should try it?" She goes, "Oh, you'll never get on to, like, it's so like everybody knows about it, and it was a big deal." So I went online and I signed up, and they sent me an email saying you've been picked. I think they wanted to know what your story was, so I talked about how I had mental illness and it's an invisible disability, and important to bring awareness to that as well and stuff like that. So yeah, they picked me, and so now we're gonna just go down the 1 bead here next to the pearl, and so she was pretty stoked that I got picked. But what I did too was I didn't pick the town that I'm in. I picked another town that I thought might not be as popular. So I got picked to do that part of the relay. And so running. The lady that was, you would run a certain amount, and there was like parades and crowds of people and stuff. And the lady that was, I had to hand off the medal to. So basically we carried this medal across Canada by doing relays all over. And you had like a tracksuit that had his sponsorship and stuff like that. It was really emotional actually. Okay, 2 Superduos, down 2 beads. So anyway, that lady, we were talking afterwards, and she's like, "Yeah, I live in Eastern Passage." I said, "Oh, really?" And then we're talking. I think we decided to meet up and start walking together. And so I went to meet her at her house, and she lives with her parents. And so I was talking to her dad, and he's an electrician. He goes, so of course, like I said, people, the minute you're in Nova Scotia, they're like, who's your father, and where do you live, where do you work, that kind of thing, right? And they're not being rude or anything. They're just, of course, I came from Toronto. I'm like, do I know you? Why are you asking me this? I can't remember if I went through. Okay, we only went through once. But he says, oh, I know the house you live in. He tells me the story. So he had sent an electrician there, and she locked him in the basement. And the funny thing was, this house, the basement, so we had Jen's son living with us. He was in university. So we had him living in the basement. And I said to Jen, I said, it's really weird. The door handle locks from the outside. So if you're on the second floor, you can lock the person in the basement. I said, that's wrong. I said, we need to change this around, because what if there was a fire and he couldn't get out? So, and she had bars on all the windows. We had to replace one of the windows because we couldn't get the bars off. It was really scary. But I think Jen's at the door. I hear some squeaking. I'm talking about you, honey.
Are you talking about our scary house?
Our scary house, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had sent an electrician, and she locked him in the basement. So next one here. But it's funny how it's so small town here. So this is, if you're having problems with your beads doing like it was doing here, where it's kind of buckling a bit, just, I mean, be gentle, because like I said, you'll cut your thread, but just push it down and kind of mash it down a bit. That's what you'd say here.
You should tell them about the creepy house coat you left behind when you moved in the house.
So Jen said, you should tell them about the creepy house coat. We came when the real estate was here, a real estate agent was here and showed us the house. There was a lot of her belongings. Well, all of her belongings were still in the house. And it was all from like the 70s. So there was like orange and brown big circle type drapes and stuff like this. So I said to the real estate agent, make sure you get rid of all the garbage before we move in, because you're only allowed 7 bags of garbage at the curb. And like, we could easily, when you're unpacking your stuff, you're throwing stuff out. And so he didn't. One of the things he left behind was, she had a red velvet house coat. So when we got finished in the basement for Jen's son, I took the house coat and I hung it on the bathroom door, on the outside of the bathroom door. So you came downstairs, everything's newly painted and fixed, and then there's this like scary, like ruby red house coat. Scared the heck out of him. He would come upstairs after like we were here for, weeks and stuff. And he'd come and wake us up in the middle of the night. And he was 22, I think. He'd say, I think there's a ghost downstairs. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, I fell asleep while I was doing my homework, and I woke up and there was like this blue haze all over the place. I was sure she was there, and I was kind of rethinking the fact that I put that house coat out, that I scared him. But yeah. So we still, in my office, there's one wall that still has 6 layers of metal, 1-inch structural plywood, and then paneling. And the only reason why it's still up, I want to take it down and redecorate. I can't put any nails or anything to hang stuff in my office for that reason. And Jen's like, no, it's an outside wall, so it's like insulation. I'm like, okay. So yeah, if you want a laugh, you have to check that out, the video. Okay, so I have 2 more here. So we're at 50 minutes. We'll see how long it takes to get the other done. So go up 2. It's getting a bit finicky here. I'm going to move my camera again. So annoying. You know what it is? When I start to concentrate, I pull things towards my chest, which is really bad because you scrunch up your neck and shoulders at the same time. I gotta learn to relax everything. Okay, pick up 2 Superduos. So we had that little interlude from Jen. So when she comes to my door, that's because it's dinner time. Yes, I'm doing a video. Mom, quit bugging me. I used to do stuff like that to her. We're in the grocery store, and I would like pretend I was throwing a tantrum. But I want it. She's like, oh, go to the car. That's it. I'm never taking you grocery shopping again. I'm like, yay! Mission accomplished. I hate grocery shopping. I used to do all the grocery shopping. She was still working. I was retired. So I'd do the grocery shopping just before picking her up from work. And then I'd pick her up from work. And then she would put away the groceries. So the person that doesn't do the grocery shopping gets to put it away and eat it too. But okay, so now this is the last one. So yeah, it is a bit poofy here, but we'll fix that. So go down the 1. I'm double checking to see where my 3rd bead is, which is in the middle there. Then go up 2. So when COVID hit, I was scheduled for surgery on my hands, and I couldn't. So we were only allowed 1 family member or 1 person from each household in the grocery stores at a time. And I was like, good. And if I got COVID, they would have rescheduled my surgery, and I didn't want to wait, so another 6 months to a year. So she was amazing. She took one for the team. Okay, we'll go through this again. Oh, looks like it's tangling here. There. Down those 2. I think part of the reason I don't like grocery shopping is, as a nurse, you work shift work, and I would often go to the grocery store after work when you're done a 12-hour night shift. That's not a good idea. Just saying. And it would never fail. People would come up to me and ask me for help in the grocery store. And I'm like, I don't work here. Oh, well, you have a name tag on. It's like, don't you see? I'm wearing a white uniform. Oh, yeah, one lady got so upset with me. Like I was intruding on her. Now I just go, oh, let me show you where it is. Okay, so now we're going to go back up and we're going to flip and turn around. So let me just explain that. So I'm going to go up 2 like we did earlier. So up 2. Like that. Go through your Superduos. Both of them. Come out that hole. Okay. And now we're going to step up here to this second hole on this Superduo. Let me see if I can show you. That. And now we're going to add our little peak, our peekaboo. And actually, I think I added the seed bead at the same time. And then we're going to go, so if we add our seed bead and our Superduo there, we're going to come out this hole. We want to get to the next one. So that's when we add 4 beads. Now we're going to go back around and add a 5th bead to create this little lovely picot. It makes a huge difference. So pick up an 11-0. This part I think goes fast. Then your Superduo and an 11-0. Your thread is coming out of that Superduo. We're going to go through the next one like that. Then we're going to add 4 seed beads. Go to the next Superduo like that. So it looks like it's not enough to finish that. You can add maybe 1 or 2 beads there, but I'll tell you what happens, and this is what happened in the other, is your Superduo will kind of lean towards it and it will tighten everything up too. Okay, so I'm just going to hang on to it like that. Pick up an 11-0, Superduo, and 11-0. Coming out of this hole, we're going to go into this hole. That does look a bit. Let me see here. Just double check this. It should be fine. So pick up 4 11-0s. That. Go through the next Superduo. That. So you're coming out of this Superduo, you're going to pick up an 11-0, a Superduo, an 11-0, and go through the next one. And you don't have to worry about pulling this tight right away. We can do it, halfway through or at the end. So 4 11-0s. That. Go through that Superduo. Pick up an 11-0, a Superduo, an 11-0, go through the next. Oh, I was worried. I looked at all these Superduos to make sure the holes were all there, but it was a bit sketch. So pick up 4 and do that all the way around. So you see how this part is really easy, and then the next step we're just going to go through and add that little picot in between all these 4s. After that, for a clasp, you could put a jump ring through that hole if your jump rings are small enough, or you can put some seed beads. Now I did save one here, and I can show you how to do this one. It's nice. It's like a bit of a diamond shape, so that's super easy to make. I'll leave it there so I remember to show you. So we got an 11-0 Superduo, 11-0, and my glasses are falling off my face. Four. You knew it's funny. We did a bunch of renovations in this house, and for the most part, well, my wife grew up poor, and I grew up. My dad worked on construction, so there was always lots of supplies. Like he would get whatever was left over on a job. His boss would tell him, just take it home if you want it, because they didn't have room to store it or whatever. And so he would bring home stuff. We always had tons of stuff to work with. And I'm a bit of a princess. So we go to the hardware store and I'm like, oh, I want this, I want that. And you know, when you're doing renovations, you're so tired. And I don't even remember what it was about. The only time we ever, I wouldn't even call it an argument, because she was just yelling at me like I was a child. Needless to say, I told her, I am not a child, don't talk to me that way. At that point, she just walked away from me. People are looking at us, and I'm like, yes, we fight too. Grr. But that's the only time. So it's a bit of a joke, because every time we've done renovations, I'm like, you know, I want the pretty shiny stuff. Imagine that. Yeah. So the funny thing is that there was a small hammer and a small, so this is the last one. So I've got my 4. So I'm going to go through here. And I'm going to go through everything again. And as we go, we're going to add so this should work. It looks squunched up a bit, but once we get it in there, it should be fine. So go through here. Now just go through 2 of your beads where you had the 4. And now you want it snug. Pick up 1. So you've come through these 2. Now you're going to go through these 2. So it should be a little bit tighter so that this one will sit on top, but it's fine. As we go, it'll probably get tighter. So now I'm trying to get through everything here, but let me see. And I think I did go through everything again after that to get these guys to stick up more. But let's see. Just gonna see if I can kind of get these up. And like that. I'm gonna roll it down a bit. There. Okay. Let's get through. So in this let me just show you something here. In the other example with the blue beads, I added another 11-0 there, because if you see on this, you can kind of see a thread, but you know what? It looked a lot better without it. So yeah, I'm just looking and wondering why it's not fitting the way I'd like it. So pick up your extra one and go through. So this is at the point where you see I keep pulling. That's when you're going to break your thread, so don't do that. So you might want to add 6 beads, and then it's important to add an even number of beads in between your Superduos, because that middle one is going to be the odd number when we add that after. So let's go through here. There. Let's keep going around. So now this is starting to stand out a bit, yeah. So as we keep going, they start to stick out a bit. Like that. I'm amazed at bead weaving how much it's like sewing, the way you pull the needle and bring it out. My mom used to do all her sewing by hand, and when we were teenagers, we'd come home with new jeans and we had them rolled up or something because they were too long. And she'd say, "Oh, take them off. I'll sew it for you right now." We're like, "No, we're good. We're good." She's like, "No, no, give them to me." And she would hand sew them. Okay, this one's, there we go. So I just heard from my sister Sylvia last night that she sent a package, and every year she makes my mother's butter tarts. It's a very Canadian dessert, and so she said they're on the way, and she made extra. I am ashamed to say, Sylvia, when you make them and we get them, the package is barely, like, we don't even get finished looking at what else she sent us, and all the butter tarts are gone. Oh, yeah. They're very good. I'll just say that. You know what I love? I used to make it. I actually made it for my brownie cooking badge. Is date squares. And my wife thinks it's so funny that I like date squares. I'm like, why do you think it's funny that, like, that was a typical item that you'd get at a bake sale, was date squares. But I think because she was married before, and the family was Arabic, and I guess it's common to have dates. I think of it now. I do keto. I can't imagine the amount of sugar in a date. And I crack up when I see videos on YouTube saying, "Oh, no sugar added, da da da," that kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, the date is the sugar. Got a knot here. See if we can untangle that. There. Go back. This is kind of hard to do on camera. Like the camera's in my way, so it's do I sound like I'm making excuses? Emma, quit making excuses. So we swam today. We both didn't feel like going. Oh, this is not friendship. It's actually coming around. It is curling in, as you can see, but I'll stretch that out a bit. I would definitely, instead of 4, maybe add 6, and I'll make one tonight and see how that turns out. Because you don't want to count on stretching your thread and breaking it as a technique. Definitely not a beading technique, Emma. Pick up one. Like that. See, these ones have already gotten like scrunched together so that bead won't get in there. What you could do, I don't know why I didn't think of this. Instead of adding the bead at the end, add 5 beads and then go around a second time, skipping the middle bead. Duh. That was cooking with gas. This is what happens when you design on the fly. So I've made 2 of these, not counting this one. So of course I wanted to do it like normally I take a little longer to finish it, like to play with it and make more designs so that I had it down pat. But because it's so close to the holidays, I wanted to make sure you had it in time. And you know what? I have been doing stuff for the holidays for so long, and it just kind of creeps up on you. Get in there. Yeah, this is the last one actually. So yeah, I would definitely change this and do 5 or 7. Probably 7. So I'll give you an update. I'll make one tonight using 7 beads and then going around the second time. So it would still only be that many steps. Okay, so let's go through here and I will show you how to create not really a class, a pendant part to it. So I just came out of the Superduo. I'm gonna step up like that. So let's see what we have here. Yeah, this is too scrunched up. Okay, me count how many. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 2, 6. Okay, so you're going to pick up 6 11-0s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. Now, if you want it bigger than this, you can definitely fit a jump ring in there, but if you want it bigger, just add more beads, but add it in like even numbers. So I've got 6, you could add 8. So you're coming out of this side of the Superduo, you're going to go into the other side. That. I'm just going to flip it around. So now you're going to go through the first bead. I'm counting to make sure it's right. Okay, so you went through the first one. Now you're going to pick up a bead. You're going to go through the next 2. And pull it tight so you see how it stayed in there. Pick up another bead. You're going to go through 2 here. And pull it tight so it's in there. So you got a nice little triangle happening. And pick up one more bead. Go through the last one like that. And there you have something that you can hang it from. So now just go through and then go through here. I'm going to put a knot and go through the others like that. So just going to grab a thread bridge and I'm going to put it around twice. It's thin thread, so you can easily do twice for the knot. And then go through your Superduo and your seed beads. It's getting stuck. You might want to use a size 12 needle or 11 if you have them. And that is it. So there we go. So let's see how it matches up with the other one to see why. Like this one's, I mean, when I was making this one, it was super tight as well. I don't know about you guys, but it looks smaller to me. Here, let's try this. No, it's the same. There. Okay, 2 snowflake earrings are ready to go. So there you go. Thanks for joining me, and I'll work on this one and let you know what I came up with. So take care, everybody. See you in the next video. Bye.